Oh, hello and welcome everyone to Mindful Conversations. This Mindful Conversations, I have beautiful guests where we share the value of self-empowerment, of valuing who you are, self-care, self-love, just enriching the life that you live in. And with me today, I have Danielle. She's going to tell you a little about herself. But again, I'm your host, Tanya Otterstein-Liehs, self-care coach. And Danielle, I want to welcome you and thank you to my Mindful Conversations. I'm so happy to have you. And to give you a little background on how I found Danielle, I was actually blessed and felt so enriched when Danielle and I connected. She has a TV show on Rogers TV, and I was on her show, and I'm sure you've caught it as well. And I said, Danielle, I got to have you on my, podcast as well, because we share that similar message about valuing who you are and, really focusing on women with her C-suite on her Rogers TV. So Danielle, before I go and continue telling, the audience and listeners about who you are, can you please share who you are, what you do?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. And this is going to be a lot of fun. And I loved having you on the C-suite. Again, it was such a great conversation that just flowed.
Yeah.
And it's all about the idea of, giving back, and it's all giving back in time.
Mm-hmm.
And you taught some great tips on how to say no, which is so important.
Yeah.
And it's great because I actually have implemented the little baby steps we talked about on the show.
Lovely.
Baby steps for saying no, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So yes, a little bit about me. So I am, by day, I am an HR professional, and in my after hours, that's when I do all the work for the C-suite. So I'm the community producer, and I also host. So kind of double duties there. So I get the pleasure of kind of networking and connecting with guests and booking. And then on the flip side, the night of, when the taping starts, I get to kind of be a part of that and have the conversation. I don't like to think of an interview, but really a conversation about different choices that women can make in their careers, and bring in experts like yourself to basically help provide different knowledge and skill, and just sometimes awareness around how we can create choices to kind of shift our career in the direction that we want it to go. So yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
Lovely. And I love the fact that, throughout your 15 years in various leadership roles, you've always never hesitated to seize opportunities. And I love that, because I find as women, often we hesitate from just going for it, seizing the opportunity and saying, you know what, I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. So I love how, whether in your day job, and as well, most importantly, what helped you create the C-suite, and you just thought, I'm going to go for it because there's this message I believe in, and I feel I can create that opportunity for women as well. So, I want to really validate the importance of that. You don't hesitate. It's just, I'm going to go for it and see what happens. So living through that entrepreneurial passion that you have is really, encouraging, and I really find that it shines. You shine throughout, whether talking with different experts, or just, when you pull us to the side and just talk beforehand. I mean, that shines in you, and I feel that it really helps women in acknowledging who they are as well, and you honoring them by honoring yourself, Danielle, in what you do, and the journey that you've been on. And with that, what helps you to constantly live with that passion that you have? I mean, you're an award-winning author, you've written books. So, what helps you continue to live and breathe and shine on this journey that you're on?
Well, I like how you say it's a journey, because it definitely is a journey. And that's kind of a word and a concept I've been using a lot lately. And really what kind of helps with this passion is, I'll be honest, I didn't always have it. Like when I looked at my early career, really the first 15 years,
Yeah.
I was just on this projection. I had a goal that I set in my 20s as to, what I wanted to do by a certain time frame.
Mhm.
And when I got there, I was just kind of like, woo, I got there. And then kind of looked around and said, okay, so what's next?
Yeah.
Because no one had ever taught me about like that big goal planning, and
Yeah.
really not just about the what, but I think where I got lost along the way was I never focused on the who.
Mm.
I was so focused on, what do I want to do, and those tangibles, and never really reflected on who do I want to be
Yeah.
as I grow across my career. So I ended up taking a break. I took a 2.5 year pause from my professional career. And during that time, I became an entrepreneur. And it was really there that I discovered this idea about really exploring personal development and really starting to understand that there is something more, that I can be doing more.
Yeah.
And really, it took about 2.5 years to really get down to what is my passion and what gets me just lit up and fired up and just driving me towards like bigger goals that I would have never ever thought of before. Like I've
Yeah.
never ever wanted to be on TV before. Like in my growing up, I hid from cameras.
Yeah.
Like I would the camera, like I'm dating myself, but like the actual cameras, everyone had them, and when it came out, I would
Yeah.
dart and
Yeah.
I would offer to take a photo because I just did not want to be in front of a camera.
Yeah.
But through this journey that I took, it just became, it wasn't about me. It was, what am I holding back on that's
Nice.
preventing others from not maybe moving forward. So, and because of the entrepreneurial journey, even though I returned to the workforce and I love working, I love being in the HR environment and just being able to help people with their careers, it really became, I can do something more.
Yeah.
And that's really where I get to do what I want to do during the day. But I also have my passion project, which is the show
Nice.
on the side.
Yeah.
And even though it's a lot of work, it just, and when we talk about what fills your cup, that just helps me fill my cup.
Yeah.
I get to connect with amazing, inspirational women, like yourself every month. And I get to help share your message and how you can help others. And that just really just kind of like lights that spark.
Nice. And I love, Danielle, how, you talked about you took a 2.5 year break. And, a lot of women want to do that, but they have this guilt or these fears. But you decided, wait, I need to take this time to focus on myself, which is such a hard step to do. But the fact that you did it, and part of that was your own self-care, and okay, I have this fire in me and I need to release it because I know there's more. And the fact that you took that step and you did it and you're continuing to do that, I mean, that speaks volume. And, did you feel the fear, or did you find, because you talked about, it seemed like it was always there, but maybe a bit hidden, that passion in you, that fire? And did you find there was like guilt that maybe rose when you took that, 2.5 year break? Were there roadblocks, and what helped you overcome those? And what helped you, say, okay, I honor how I'm feeling, but I'm going to step beyond that fear. I'm going to go for it and see where that takes me. Like, can you help the listeners understand, or can you express how, yes, I felt it, but this is what helped me to just go for it. And again, like, seize that opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll talk, like, focus on the fear. So what were the
Yeah.
fears?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, like let's just, put your career on pause. And I've
Yeah.
got 2 children and a partner, and I have to say, what helped me through that
Mm-hmm.
was their support.
Nice.
And the day I came home and I told my kids that I had left work, they kind of sat there, and my son looked at me and he's like, Mom, we're gonna be okay.
Nice.
And my daughter was like, she was like beyond happy. And I thought, okay, because there was a lot of fear around, am I making the right
Yeah.
choice?
Yeah.
Like, it's your career. And I had defined my worth and my value on my titles and salaries, and to give
Mm.
it all up was a lot of fear. But I had an amazing family support system. So I'm very grateful and I'm very blessed for that. and to work as I continually evolved and explored being an entrepreneur and working on my business and just challenging myself in ways I had never done before. It was a network of friends really that really helped to support me. And I had coaches at the time that they were there for guidance and mentors, and then this really amazing support system of
Nice.
friends and peers that if I needed to bounce an idea off of, they were there. If I had a fear, they were great because they were aligned. Like we all like it was interesting to see that when you connect, you start sharing your story
Yeah.
and allowing yourself to be a little more vulnerable. People share back, and
Yes.
then you understand that you're not alone.
Yeah.
You're not alone in whatever challenge you have, and that other people have solutions and ways to help.
Hmm.
So by kind of opening up and allowing myself to be vulnerable, which new to me. Like I was like, my license plate years ago said ice on it because I was
Oh,
ice. Like I was cold. I kept people pushed to like I had a big, personal space, but I had to learn to let people in. And
nice.
because of that, I was able to kind of to really grow and explore entrepreneurialism and identify, not just what I wanted to do
Hmm.
when I grew up, but really who did I want to be.
Yeah. And it almost sounds like you had to allow yourself to become vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
100%.
yeah, yeah, it's true, right? Because as women specifically, I'm not saying it doesn't happen with men, but women specifically, we we feel we can't allow ourselves to be vulnerable, and we can't allow ourselves to express what we're feeling, what we need. We feel we can't be vulnerable to say, I need your support, I need motivation, I need inspiration. But you just said it, once you opened yourself up, once you opened that door and said, okay, this is what I want to do. And here you thought maybe like, oh, am I going to have support? Like, who's going to believe in me? It was there, right? You opened yourself up to that vulnerability, and there's so many support systems that were around you. And I'm so happy you said that, Danielle, because there's so many women that feel they're alone, and
Yeah.
they don't see the support that's around them, and they don't see themselves as this extremely important person, and they do have value to share. And the fact that you just went for it, I'm so happy you shared that. you know and especially you have this other profession that you are during the day, but yet you gave yourself the chance and the opportunity, and you're still continuing to do that.
Mhm.
So it's a wonderful, because there are a lot of women in the corporate world that feel the way you did, and
Mhm.
don't feel the way that they can open up that door and become vulnerable. But the fact that you did, and it was successful in your own way. I mean, how it is successful is different to everybody, right? But at the same time, opening yourself up to allow the
Mhm.
world to come to you, and allow um, this amazing new world that you were closed off before is so powerful. And I
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. Now listen, before I forget, I know that the listeners want to know, how can they reach you, whether it's asking you about how did you do it, or asking you about, oh, Danielle, Tanya, you mentioned you have a program, a TV show. How can they find you, Danielle?
Okay, so I do have a website that I do keep that really is all about sharing more about the show, and because
Mhm.
that's the whole entrepreneurial. I guess it's there because yeah, it's that entrepreneurial side and
Yeah,
that passion, that creativity that I get to have. So I do
yeah.
have a website. It's daniellejoworski.com, and you can just learn a little bit more about me on it and see and just really learn more about the show and
Nice.
connect around the show, or either as a viewer or even as a guest. You've got everyone's got beautiful things to say and stories that can help others, and so you can connect through the website as a viewer or a guest, or I'm on LinkedIn. Those are kind of the two best places to get me, or Facebook as well.
Nice. And do not worry, everybody. As you know, underneath below here, I will share all the ways you can reach out to Danielle. And I really encourage you to go to Rogers TV, local Rogers TV, and watch her C-suite because it's amazing guests that have been on there, including myself. But
Absolutely.
and and it's easily absorbable. I know sometimes we think about a show being, half an hour, but like 5-10 minutes. So, and it's amazing a value that you get from each one of Danielle's guests, and the way she just has this conversation. It's really wonderful, and I encourage you to head over there and watch the wonderful show that she has created out of her heart. And it's amazing that everybody has their own story that they share, and I believe that everyone can really relate in some way to every one of your guests. And what you bring forth in each one of us is amazing.
Oh, thank
Now,
you.
I always have 3 questions, Danielle,
Yes.
that I ask everyone
Okay.
of the guests. And I love, as much as I love learning about each one of my guests and them sharing their stories, I have to say, these 3 questions are always my favorite, are always my favorite to ask, because it kind of makes you think, right? It's like, yeah, and I find we really learn a part of you that we didn't know before. So yeah, it's always my favorite part.
Well, I don't know what else I can share.
So we all have quotes that we absolutely love and we just kind of live by, right?
Mhm.
So Danielle, what is a quote that you absolutely love and live by?
So it is a quote that I don't know if it's said by anyone, but it's a quote. Life is a journey,
Mm,
and I use it a lot. It almost becomes a reminder for me because I keep thinking, oh, another year. It's the end of November. Another
yeah.
year has gone by, and have I achieved all the goals I wanted to
Yeah.
achieve? And I keep thinking of the idea that as I'm getting older, life becomes a marathon. And
Mm,
I have to get all of these things done, and
uh,
I just again, it goes back to this allowing topic that you were talking about, is just kind of allowing things to happen as they happen and not trying to force things, and to enjoy the journey,
nice.
because I could be missing opportunities. I could just be missing, different, just like blessings, that if I was so focused on just getting to the end, whatever that goal is, I'm missing out on so much. And just really trying to, relax and breathe a lot more, and just kind of enjoy kind of
Yeah.
where I am today, and then, but still focused on where I want to be in the future.
That is beautiful because life is a journey, right? And it's all about baby steps, and it's taking the moment just to stop and breathe and just, okay, how do I feel? How am I in the moment? And realizing that it's a never-ending journey, and the fact that you're realizing that we do need to, and it's something I just value and talk about all the time, but we do need to feel gratitude, and we do need to feel what we're so blessed to have in our life, and including who we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is a beautiful quote that I mean, I think it's a quote that everybody needs to, and I say needs to live by, because it's like you said, it's we live in this world where we think we have to get all these things done, and we have to do all this, and we have these timelines and these deadlines, and realizing that you need, okay, let's break it down, and at the end of the day, think about what you did accomplish, because maybe you feel you didn't, but you did. Every day you do accomplish something, and realizing that is part of your life journey that you're meant to be on. And if it doesn't happen today, well, it wasn't meant to for a reason, but it's going to happen down the road. And I mean, our conversation together, it's from the top to the bottom, where you realize that this was a journey. It's been happening since I've been in my 20s, and it's a journey that's going to continue and never end. So thank you. I know I went on and on about that, but it is so true, right? And it can be looked at so many different ways. So number one advice, Danielle. What's the number one advice you can share with our listeners today?
Oh, yeah. And that's tough because it's
Yeah.
advice. It's so personal and, uh,
Yeah.
and I had some things written down, and I mean, the one, so I don't know if it's advice, but how I'm kind of making decisions now and moving on that journey is I'm trying to be less caught up here. And
Mm,
I have a habit of kind of being over analytical and analyzing everything and questioning and having that inner dialogue. So I'm trying to be a lot better at just kind of going with the flow, which
yeah.
kind of may sound a little hokey, but
No.
I was kind of like feeling my way through things like, do these decisions feel good at the end of the day? Because I have to live with them afterwards. And all the data may give me a certain result, but does it feel good? And
Nice.
that has taken many, many years to get to that point where I can say, I'm okay to kind of give up the ego or the scientist part of
Yeah.
me and just be in that state of allowing and just kind of seeing what comes up. It's hard some days, but I really work at just being in that state of allowing.
So going from a type A personality and just kind of breaking out of that shell of that A personality.
Well, it was tough because my earlier career, I was a scientist, so I was into systems, so all about systems and processes, and this
Mm,
you do step 1, 2, 3, 4.
yeah.
So to be able to kind of break away from that, which I still like and I still rely on,
Yeah.
but I love being able to have this other side now where I can problem solve creatively and analytically, and I can think very focused and strategic, or be a little more like innovative. So I
Yeah.
love being able to do both. But again, it comes from that state of allowing and just allowing myself to get there.
Yeah, listening to that inner gut feeling, our intuition that we often silence, but it's never. Do you find too, Danielle, that that inner intuition, that inner voice, has never been proven wrong yet? It's always been right.
I'd like to say sometimes it might be wrong when I'm going back to the ego side of it, but at the end of the day, I feel better. Like when I trust my instincts and I
Yeah,
kind of go with what feels good. At the end of the day, I think the results are better. I'm much happier with it.
nice, very nice. Now, I know you're a mom of two. However, with this last question, you cannot include family.
Yes.
So, if it was the last day of your life, what's the one thing that you'd be grateful for?
And I said it was my network of friends. So unless friends are combined with family, but for me, I'm grateful for my ability to kind of break down those walls and open up that personal space to allow people in, because it's been
Nice.
others that have allowed me to really, for me to get to know myself and to be able to take risks and work through the fear and just be able to explore all the different opportunities and just really be able to kind of live life very differently. Yeah, so it'd be my network of friends.
Nice. Very nice, right? It's giving you that network of friends. I love it because then we find out who our true friends are,
Mm.
right? I mean, we in this world of social media and all that stuff, right? We think we have tons of friends, but your true friends are the ones who will listen to you, give you advice, and be truthful, and
Mhm.
always be there to support you and inspire you and motivate. So that's beautiful that you've realized who your true friends are, that network of those meaningful that are going to be with you through thick and thin and be by your side. So I love that. Very nice, very nice. So Danielle, I want to thank you very much for your time today. I feel you have this amazing value. Part of my mindful conversation is that's why I have guests like you that will add value and really belief in what I believe in about making ourselves important, and that it's a journey, and we need to value who we are and grab those opportunities and listen to our guts. And what you've shared today, I know that there are people that need to hear it. So thank you again for being on
Yeah.
my Mindful Conversation podcast and sharing this ultimate story as well, sharing your story with everyone. And as you know, everyone, I always love to end my podcast for is number one, before you go to bed tonight, think about the best thing that happened, because no matter what, there's always one beautiful thing that happened. And when you wake up today, think about 5 or even 1, something you're grateful for, because no matter about the things that we focus on can be negative. Instead, focus on the positive things in your life. This is Tanya Otterstein-Liehs, self-care coach, saying thank you once again for listening to another one of my mindful conversations. Until next time, thanks, Danielle, for being here.
Thank you so much. It's
Take
wonderful to
care.
be here.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.